you guys how to use this Sprinter built out adventure van. This was built here in the shop here at Reparadise.
What, about 2 years ago now? Yeah. 2017.
All over from Maine to California and back. So this whole video is kind of a tutorial of how to use every little nook and cranny and awning and water pump and every little thing we got on here. So we'll start on the outside. Walking through here, you'll notice that off the back, lower end back here, we've got an inboard generator. This guy produces 30 amps, so you can run an AC and some outlets on the interior. It does sit a little bit lower, so that's just a precaution. Make sure that you're not dragging ass over giant rocks and stuff like this. It's gotten banged up a couple times, but it still runs nice. On the inside right here, this is where we keep the hook for the awning.
So you got a hook on the right side, super easy, clockwise crank. The nice thing about this is if there's not any heavy winds, you can crank this out as far as you want, and you can leave it low depending on where the sun is in the horizon if you need to block your eyes or the camp when you're setting up from sun hitting you. Left and right hand side has a couple of legs. Pop these suckers down. It's got a couple turnbuckles on the side. So say it's raining and you need to pitch the water off one corner, you can kind of have it go off kilter, but these guys rise up pretty high. So hit that turnbuckle real quick. We'll show you how high it goes. So it's a pretty big platform for your camp, under sun, under rain, whatnot. When you're putting this thing away, lower it, tighten the turnbuckle slightly. You don't have to crank these things down like He-Man. When you're putting them away, just make sure that these corners right here are popped in. So at the ends, you want to pop that guy in. If not, when you're rolling it up, it'll catch. So just pop these little suckers flush. And then reverse process. And you'll notice you're going the wrong way if you see these guys kind of flatten out like that. So just to reverse it, you go counterclockwise. Same thing, if you want to leave this guy out just like that to cover up some of the truck, then they don't necessarily have to have the arms down if the wind's not blowing. So it's a pretty well supported unit. Same thing. So we'll keep on the outside here, wrap around this sucker. So wrap it around. On the driver's side, we have a water port. So we've got a water key inside, or some people use their pocket knife. You just, same thing, counterclockwise opens it. When you shut this, just do not over crank it or else it's super hard. It just takes a little bit of pressure to get this guy locked in. So this is for just any generic hose. We keep a hose inside, so you can hook this up at a gas station, your RV park or whatever. And this is not city water, this is gravity water. So we've got a 10-gallon tank right here. When you're filling this up, we have an overflow line, so you don't have to go watch anything. Just fill it up until water starts pouring out the bottom right here, and then remove the hose or turn off your water and we're good to go. So you put that back on when you're done, and then lightly crank it down. On the opposite side, this, which actually looks like a gas cap, is for your city electrical connection. So this is, a 30 amp unit that you would find at any RV park. We keep an adapter in here so you can step it down to 15 amps. You can plug it into anybody's receptacle, and this will power everything on the interior, even air conditioner. So a lot of people aren't really sure, if they have never driven one of these, where the diesel fill is. You got this little flap right here when you open the door. So this is for your fuel, electrical, water, all in a row. Yeah, we'll jump up this ladder real quick, because this is another water. So this carries another 10 gallons of water. So grand total in this guy is 20 gallons of potable water. A little shop noise in the background. When we go into the trailer, I kind of show you the tools for this, but it's just got its own little removable tool. This is the fill station. Same thing, just put a hose in here, fill it until the water flows over, and you'll know you're capped off. You're gonna put this on, and then this on the other end, this little knuckle is press the valve for a little, or Schrader valve, yeah, for a 12 volt air pump that we keep. So we'll pull that up here in a minute, and I'll show you how to pressurize this thing. And then we have a shower attachment. So what you would do is pop this unit off, and this kind of sits down on the steps themselves. And then you crawl down, and the shower attachment for this we all have in the back, but it's all quick connect. So it's super easy to put this guy together once you want to do a little shower. Everything's kind of kept in this one spot. So this is what the little wrench looks like that removes the top so you can fill the water. This is what the unit looks like that's actually going to spray you down for your shower. So this guy connects here. You basically will wrap this around depending on your height, adult, kid. Wrap that guy around. We'll quick connect it. This is your on-off switch. Boop, boop. Show you real quick how to pressurize this thing while we got it out. Sitting in this spot, I keep everything for water. So we've got a hose for potable water, fills up both your 10-gallon tank for inside, and then your tank for up top. This is the unit that we use to pressurize the shower on top. So usually I just set this up here. If somebody's up top, they can help assist. And this guy gets pressurized to no more than 50 pounds. This little electrical pump that we have, this runs off a 12 volt, so you don't have to be plugged in, you don't have to run the generator. Just have to bring it over. It's got a little screw cap. Screw it on there, just like a bicycle. It has a little gauge. Then on the back here, bam, flip it on. And this little sucker will take a minute or two. And you can see it pressurizing right there. So at 50 pounds, I can spray this thing probably a good 50 feet. So it's got pretty good pressure once this thing's going. But you know, you're at the bike trail or whatever like that, you come back, rinse off real quick, you can just go inside and have a nice dinner and not have to go all the way home or to a campsite and shower. So there's there's these little gate valves. So this right now is in the off position. When you're ready to actually use this for a shower or to fill up water, you know, whatever you want to do with the unit, you turn this down, and this whole water line gets pressurized. So once you've got it to 50 PSI, bam, turn it off, unscrew it. And then, yeah. So to give you an idea, once it's pressurized, it's got some pretty awesome, you can spray anything down. So you would just take that shower, quick connect it to this, bam, you're ready to go. Actually, while we're up top, we've got a pretty huge stable platform up here. If you want to watch a sunset, you and the ladies set up a chair, drink a glass of wine, watch the sunset. Totally stable, don't fall off. We do keep track mats with us. We've just got to, you just have to release this guy, toss them underneath your tires, whatever you're stuck in, sand, mud, snow. Engage the four-wheel drive, line these guys up. There is a sign on here, this side up. So these guys are supposed to be facing the tire and this side faces the ground. Spare tire back there. We've got a couple areas that you can, strap down wood, a bicycle, whatnot. So totally usable space for gear and storage and watching sunsets. So we're gonna move under the hood right now. Your release for the hood is right there. And then it's got a little paddle, if I can find it, right here, just to the left of the symbol. All right, super important, a few things. If this van is ever dead, do not touch these two batteries right here. These are actually the house batteries, the auxiliary batteries. So this is kind of what's gonna power your water pump, your lights, your fan, whatever you have on the inside, your USB ports, all that stuff. So the actual battery that starts and runs the truck, or starts it, sits underneath the driver's bench seat. So in order to jump this truck off, they put this little port right here. So you just want to move this guy back. You'll see on the side it's in red letters, 12 volt positive right there. So you hook your positive line up, bam, and then ground to chassis. So you're going to hook up to the body of the truck with your ground. And then moving through, this blue cap says DEF on it. This is diesel exhaust fluid. Every once in a while you might have a little light that pops up. It kind of sucks because you can't actively see how much you have. It just tells you when it hits a sensor in here. You don't have to freak out, pull over and go get DEF fluid. It's good to keep a couple gallons with you, but you can usually run this thing 200 to 300 miles before. But if you run it too low, it will put this truck into limp mode and you can only go 5 miles an hour. So you would, next chance you get to stop at a gas station, walk inside, grab a 2-gallon bottle of DEF, pour it in there. And I think that covers the inside of this. On the front, if you do need to be pulled out from the front, do not grab onto the bars. We do have a recovery piece that will slip in here. There's a pin that latches it on, and that's going to be how somebody with a bigger truck than this gets you out. This is a 4-wheel drive capable truck with traction mats, so that's kind of a last resort right there. So that kind of covers the outside. We can move interior. Start with the back since the back's open. Again, barn doors, these guys slide all the way open. We do have a bike receiver, a hitch on both the front and the rear. The nice thing is if you are traveling with a bike rack, you do get to camp. Just remove your bike rack, throw it to the front, and if you're doing trail or shuttle runs, you can just keep being able to access all your gear off the back with your bikes on the front. It's kind of nice. Switches. These 3 guys, interior. Spotlight, which is nice because this is also adjustable, so if you need to reach up here, move it around, whatever. Right now we've got it faced where your cooking and galley would be right here. And then the third one is a water pump. This pump is the 10 gallons of water that's in here, and it kind of goes to two different options. One, you have again a quick connect line. It's kind of like a garden hose. You fill up some water, fill up the wash basins to do dishes, your Camelback, get your dogs some water, wash the kids down, and then we have a sink up front. We'll show you in a minute. There's an outlet right here. It needs to be run off of either shore power or the generator. Put your fires out with this guy. Cubby space all around. As you can see, we keep quite a few things in here. Yeah, so this is going to be your electrical. So we'll keep these cords with us. This is just your normal 15 amp cord. So this is a 30 to a 15 amp step down. So if you're wanting to run the air conditioner, you're going to need to just plug in a 30 amp line. But this is what plugs in near the front that looks like a gas cap. This will power your unit if you're at an RV park or if you're at your bro's place. Right next to it, we've got a couple of things. We can lock down a bike here. You would take off your front wheel, of course. Bikers know how this would work. Just crank this guy down and the bike sits right here perfectly. Next to that, I keep a first aid kit in here. You guys chilling. We have a little step stool that we keep in. Sometimes depending on the height, either here or around the side. This is a good usable thing. This 200 pounds recovery strap, and this is a unit we talked about for the front end in case you need to get pulled out. So anything happens, use this. We've got a little shovel in case you need to do some digging in the stand, and some stabilizers. So if you're parking some badass BLM land, you need to level this sucker out. You stack these guys under your tires to give yourself a more level sleeping spot. And earlier we showed you this is where the awning crank arm is. We keep those latched in here. It's got this little pressure clip, keep them in place. And of course these guys can all be moved around so you can use the space any way you want. You've got a quick latch here. This unit slides out, so it's nice for stuff that's heavier that you don't utilize as much, but you need to grab and not want to climb all the way in the back. Clips into place. This unit, it's got a turnbuckle lock. This ends up being our little kitchen area. This is a prep top, cutting board, whatever you want it to be. Just pick up, move out of the way to access a little propane stove underneath, and set it back in place, and bam, you got a little kitchen right here. If you have another table, you get to utilize this whole area. You can see the light shining right on it. We include quite a few things in here. We've got these guys pop into wash basins for kitchen gear. We keep a pot, a pan, some plates, propane, some random salt, pepper, fork, knives, cups. This whole unit is, spatulas, whatnot. So you've got a pretty good start to everything that you would need right here. Anything else can be found at the Walmart on the way to wherever you're going. So when you're done, bam, kitchen gets put away. And this is the back. You can see we also have two more lights up on the roof rack. Those are controlled from the front of the truck. So two sets of pretty high intensity exterior LED lights. The one you can see off the back, it's pretty super bright. Bam. If you really want to anger your neighbors, or you're down the most desolate of side roads, those are pretty awesome. We move inside here. Where those lights just went off, we actually have a circuit breaker, because what tends to happen is those are super powerful lights, and if they get left on too long, the line can overheat. So right behind the driver's seat, we installed this circuit breaker, and if it's not working, the lights aren't working, it will be in this up position. So that's an open circuit, and usually what happens, you just need to walk back here if the lights aren't coming on, and just pop that back down into place. And then in place, usually what I do is I keep this, what just looks like generic fabric right here. These are your sunshades. The nice thing about these is they also are blackout shades, and they're very well insulated, so in the middle of summer they'll really keep the heat down. The front one everybody knows how to use. Wraps around your rear view mirror like this. Bam. Throw down your shades. Now the side view ones, they've got these little tabs on it, and they're made for passenger and driver side. So as you'd see, this unit right here would be the passenger side. This unit, driver side. Super simple. Take these little tabs, set them up in the open window. Gotta have the truck on. And then when you close the window, they'll catch. This unit wraps around. Bam. So once the whole front is closed off, it's both pretty dark and pretty private for the fact that our rear glass is all limousine tint, so it stays pretty dark and nice and cool. So and once this guy is shut down, the lights are off, it's pretty damn dark in here. So as we move through the galley, a couple doors right here. This one opens up to a little groover. This is kind of an emergencies purposes only unit. There are some campgrounds and places where they make you have one. They'll actually check. They won't let you camp without something like that. Places that don't have toilets. Our policy here is you use, you buy, or you clean. So, you know, it's there in case there's an emergency, but just bring it back clean or pay us to clean. We do have a switch right under here that turns on some nice ambient light, which is great at night when you don't want to, you know, ruin your eyes, still be able to get around, brush your teeth, whatnot. So this little guy has a switch right underneath. Also, there is a secondary circuit breaker under here. This guy is a bigger one. This is our main for all of our 12 volt system. So if I open the circuit, nothing 12 volts going to work at all. Even if you're plugged in, this kills everything. So again, the lights aren't working, the water pump doesn't work. The first thing you do is you walk over here and make sure that this is a closed circuit. So that's all you have to do, super quick. This right here is, we have a secondary switch for your water pump. So you can see, you know, same thing, grab a glass of water, you know, brush your teeth, wash your hands, whatnot. You can hear it draining. So it's just got this little 7-gallon catch right here. All you have to do is release this. If it gets full, dump it in the gutter, whatever. It's just gray water, you know, hopefully nothing gross or toxic in there, but just check it every once in a while and see if it's gotten full. This is a 12 volt fridge. So this is going to run off that battery system that we showed you underneath the hood of the truck. Generally, in the past, what I've used is like 2.5 to keep stuff pretty damn cold. If you turn this thing all the way up to 5, you're freezing shit. Super efficient. Generally, you don't have to worry about this ruining the battery. Sitting right above that, microwave. This has to be run off of shore power or the generator. So in order to get this generator started, and you're not anywhere with shore power, we've got our control center right here. Now right above that is a battery readout, which generally you don't have to worry about unless you're, you know, like to geek out about that stuff. But there's a little button right there, just shows you how much juice you have. Right next to that is a USB plug. This is hooked up to your 12 volt and your batteries. So no matter if you're plugged in, got the generator going, or have the truck on, none of that has to be on for you to power, to suck power out through this guy. So plug your phone in, plug a, you know, camera in, whatever you need to. So generator, pretty simple. Start stop switch is just one single switch. Hold it down for about 3 seconds, release it. It goes through a cycle. And this is a diesel fed off of the diesel tank in the truck, so you never have to worry about you know, filling up an auxiliary tank or anything for this. As long as you keep enough fuel inside of the truck, it will run. Now the line that feeds the generator sits higher than the bottom of the tank, so it will not start sometimes if your fuel level is too low. So once this is on, bam, air conditioner kicked on. You can run the microwave. Air conditioner doesn't have its own thermostat. These are at source controls. So as you can see right here, you know, I just turned it to fan, bam, I turned it off. This is your temperature control right here. So pretty simple. And then bam, you're done. You want to turn this thing off, you're gonna go back to the start stop button. Again, just hold it down for about 2 seconds, release, and that's it. On the wall corresponding to this area, this is an Espar heater, and this is also an inline diesel fed heater off of the fuel tank in the truck. So again, you don't have to run the truck, you don't have to fill anything with fuel. All you have to do is walk over here and turn this guy on. So there's two options. This is heat, this is fan, and this is temperature up, and this is temperature down. So if you want to hit heat, it turns on. Sadly, it only comes in Celsius, so if you want to do some conversion, you just pull your phone out and do the conversion. Now if you want to just turn it off, if you want to just cycle a fan through here, all you have to do is hit that button, and it will actually pull some outside air into the cabin. So at this point, it's not forcing any heat. It's turning on that little 12 volt fan. Again, that runs off of those lithium ion batteries that we have in here, 200 amp hours, so you can cycle some nice air without worrying about killing a battery or anything. So again, if you want to turn it off, just hold it down, hold the button down for a couple seconds. And then the rest is kind of storage. We've got storage up here, storage in here, storage right here, little cubby storage for shoes and random stuff. Up top, at the very end of the driver's side, there is on this little shelf is another USB port. So if your head's sleeping down there, you would just reach over, you can plug in your phone. Again, that is hooked up to the lithium ion batteries, so you don't have to run the truck, you don't have to plug it in or anything. We have plenty of juice in here for this to power 4 phones all night long. These windows in the back, these units are all sliders, so they've got a little lock on them. If you see the lock, that means it's open. They slide. You can actually drive the van with these open if you guys want to circulate some air. The ones you can't drive with open are the 2 side windows. These are T-vents. So when you open them, it actually swings the window out. Too much air pressure will actually rip the little metal arms off. So when you travel, just make sure these guys are nice and tightly closed. They don't really have a latch on them. They just kind of pressure close.
Swivel seat.
Swivel seat, yeah, that's right. Up front, let me get a little light in here. These guys just wrap up, toss in the back. So on this seat, you've got two paddles. You've got one paddle that slides this whole unit forward. So that's step number one. You're going to slide this unit forward. And then step two is to hit the red paddle that's under there, which you have to reach a bit further. And then you turn this guy. And then you have a captain's chair that faces the back of the truck, so people can gather, congregate, talk, hang out. While we're at the front of the coach, I'll show you the couple of these dashboard buttons. So right here we have your 4x4. So if need be, you're stuck somewhere, bam. That's just a button engaged 4x4. This unit does have navigation and Bluetooth. Navi button right there. I'll show you your little map. The Bluetooth is a little bit of a bitch to link to. We actually have a book of how to, of course. That's how difficult the Germans made it. And then, you know, of course, AC and your generic buttons here. But down here, this little mess is a couple of things that you want to know because this truck is always yelling at you. It has the somebody's too close to me coming up in a blind spot that will scream at you. It has parking sensors everywhere that scream at you. It has somebody is coming up on the rear scream at you, and it has the I can read the paint lines on the road and you're going over the paint lines button that will scream at you. So if this thing starts beeping and screaming, you just start turning all these sensors off. Otherwise you're driving down the road and it just beeps constantly. So in this top compartment, I generally keep a few things, some literature in case people are bothering you about like, oh, who built your van and blah, blah, blah. You just be like, call these people. There's some general fuses in here we keep in case, you know, say your windshield wipers stop working and you blew a fuse, you know, some general stuff. There's also a book. This has our current insurance card on there and just a couple of generals on the inside, which is current registration and a couple of little guidelines, which have our phone number is Outdoorsy's emergency phone number, how to use a few things like the four-wheel drive, some things to check before you take off, how to use the AC, the heater, the generator that we've gone over. It also has the height, weight, and length of the vehicle if needed. So this is just kind of a generics station right here.
The USB up front is hidden. Nobody can ever find it.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So this has both a USB and an aux line right here. So this spot right here will get you playing whatever you need to on your radio.
You give up on Bluetooth.
Yep. Turn this light off. On the side here, I think we almost about forgot to do these lights. So 3 switches, and we put 2 zones in the ceiling. So you've got one that goes over the bed, one that goes over the galley area right here. With them both on, it kind of looks like this. And then the third one is these exterior lights that shine down, and once you have the awning out, you can shine them down underneath the awning. Again, these guys are also you know, rotational. Move them, shine them on whatever you want, anybody's eyes that you want. There are a few hidden things in here, you know, like there's a Mercedes has their first aid kit. Underneath here is where your jack and everything is in case you need to pull a tire. And I think that's her. That's the unit.